Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Opinionated Plays, and I'm here with another tier list video, and today we're taking a look at the Saiyan Saga from Dragon Ball Z, otherwise known as the Raditz Saga, or also the Vegeta Saga, two separate sagas, obviously. And we have a few tiers here to go over as far as these characters. So, the first tier we have here is a God tier, the best characters in the saga, and the ones that are unforgettable, fights, unforgettable scenes, characters that will probably be in the next saga or the next series, And then going over the next tier, we have entertaining characters. Now, as far as entertaining goes, they're probably going to be, entertaining for this saga, but they might not play a huge role in the rest of the series, but they might be one of the stronger characters that are currently fighting. So that's why they'll be ranked for entertaining, as far as this saga goes specifically. And then we have the mid-tier, which is, the middle of the road for these characters. The ones you could care less about, but they're okay in the roles they fill. As far as this specific saga goes, not talking about the rest of the show. And after this, we have dumbass category. This is reserved for people who, are really stupid, or they deserve to die, or you'd like to see them die because they play a role that infuriates you or makes you want to go to the next episode. And then after that, finally, we have the irrelevant characters, the ones that make no sense or are here for a filler episode, or they don't play a major role in any sense and you can care less. So that's the tiers. So let's move on to the actual characters, right? So the first character we have is, we have Gohan versus Raditz. This is what it looks like, because when he gets enraged coming out of the Saiyan space pod, he goes crazy and basically hits Raditz, and it damages his armor pretty badly. So he got a good shot in on him. I think I would rate this Gohan as entertaining, specifically because we have not seen Gohan ever perform an attack prior to this. He was just introduced into the series, and we didn't even know he had any capabilities or potential to fight. So, eventually we assumed he'd become a martial artist, but we didn't know he would be able to unleash an attack on a Saiyan warrior from outer space. So, he deserves to be in the entertaining tier, definitely. Next, we have Bubbles, King Kai's boy. Basically his son. He can't meet any woman, so he's not going to have his own, so he adopted Bubbles, I guess. Popped out of thin air. He's just comedic relief, it would seem. He's basically there to meet up with Goku before Goku meets King Kai, and just continues to harass Goku and make him run around on a planet that has 10 times Earth's gravity. So I would rank Bubbles as also entertaining, because, his role was to be entertaining, and he performed that well. Next here we have the Goku from the Raditz fight, it would seem. His head's a little cut off, but we can clearly see, that's where the scene is from. Goku here is fighting with Piccolo, and, combined, they cause a bit of trouble for Raditz. But on Goku's own, if Piccolo wasn't assisting him, I don't think he would have survived as long as he did. Even though he eventually did die, he wouldn't have lasted as long. And overall, this Goku is pretty mid, specifically because he died. He didn't win the fight, he just sacrificed himself so Piccolo could finish him off. If this Goku would have went one-on-one with his brother and won, he would have been a god tier character, but overall he just died, and he went to the other world, so that's why he's mid. Next we have Gregory. If I were to rank this guy, not going to spend too much time on this bug, but he's kind of a dumbass, to be honest with you. He just likes to pick a fight with Goku, and he kind of gets embarrassed there, thinking Goku can't hit him, and then he gets squashed like the bug he is. So he's a dumbass, and that's where I would rank him. Next we have Piccolo, and I gotta say, for the Saiyan Saga specifically, the job he did with Gohan, the way he killed Raditz, the way he led the pack against Nappa and Vegeta until Goku arrived was extremely heroic, including his sacrifice to save Gohan's life. I would rank him as a god tier character in this saga specifically. He played a major role. He was more on Earth than Goku was, with the others basically as their leader, basically giving them moral support. you know, taking advantage of the fact that Nappa's a dumbass and Piccolo's actually smart, and basically tricking him multiple times into, you know, Nappa could have easily finished off everyone really quickly, but he wanted to drag this fight out, specifically until Goku arrived. So that's where I would rank Piccolo. I think he's a god tier character. It's debatable if you can move him down, but overall I think people remember Piccolo a lot in this saga specifically. Next we have Bulma. If I'm thinking back correctly, one of the major roles she played was, I guess, I don't know, watching the fight on TV. That's probably her most prominent role. And then seeing Yamcha die, she cried. The other thing she did was repair Raditz's scouter, and then checked Roshi and Krillin's power levels, if I believe correctly. So she really didn't do much in this saga, but overall I would just give her mid-tier, because she wasn't totally irrelevant. She did do some things. It's hard to think back completely, but she's not irrelevant in any saga of Dragon Ball. Next we have Nappa. I'm just going to straight put him in dumbass. This guy basically got bitched by Vegeta. He got bitched by Goku. He basically would have gotten killed by Krillin's Destructo Disc if Vegeta didn't tell him to move, and then he eventually got killed by Vegeta. So he's a dumbass. He's not weak. He did eviscerate, I believe, Chaozu sacrificed himself for nothing, so you can count Nappa as killing him, basically. Nappa, I believe, basically killed Tien because Tien used up all his energy and just died after getting his arm chopped off. Other than that, Nappa didn't do that much besides just walk around and make threats. He did not kill everyone like he could have, so he's a dumbass. That's where I would put him. Raditz, he's mid. You know, obviously, I'm not going to put him in dumbass or irrelevant. Like, he played his role effectively, but it was good that he died overall. Like, you know, it was good for to move the story along. But at the time, it was a good fight. It was entertaining to watch. Everybody liked that fight. He got beat 2-on-1, and what can you say? He was just the start of the saga, so, you know, we appreciate Raditz for being Goku's brother, but, you know, we wish he was stronger, obviously, because, you know, he came off as one of the strongest warriors we've ever seen, and he turned out to be way weaker than Nappa or Vegeta, and that's basically where he stands, is the weakest of those three, by far, so he's mid. King Kai, he's entertaining, just like Bubbles. He trains Goku in Otherworld once Goku dies. Kami brings him over there, says, you know, King Kai, you can go to King Kai's, get some training, learn Kaioken, you know, and that's what leads eventually to Goku being able to take on Vegeta. So we appreciate King Kai, we appreciate him phoning in from time to time through the clouds, and they can hear him, so we appreciate the comedic relief, and he's a great character in the series, and especially entertaining in this saga. Next is Kami. So Kami is mid. Kami basically is just there to get yelled at by King Yema. Kami basically tells Mr. Popo what to do. He's basically guardian of the Earth, but he can't really fight anybody specifically, so he's just watching them fight the Saiyans. That's why he's mid. He's the guardian of the Earth. He's not strong enough to fight anybody that attacks, so mid is a perfect spot for him, as far as I can see. Next character we have is Chaozu. He's a dumbass. He didn't have to blow himself up. He did that basically without being, you know, he wasn't forced to do that, basically. He made a sacrifice that was unforced, an unforced error, as you might call, and, you know, he was done for until he got wished back by the Dragon Balls. I mean, Tien just, you know, watched that happen. It just didn't make any sense why Chaozu did that. He's just too weak. Sorry, you weren't going to kill Nappa by blowing yourself up. Mr. Popo is the next character we have. He's entertaining. You know, he's on the same level as King Kai, because even though he's not trying to be funny, sometimes he comes off as funny. I know the viewers are laughing. Most of the time the characters that are talking to him aren't, but people love Mr. Popo. I've seen it. From every Dragon Ball fan, they love Mr. Popo. And if you don't love Mr. Popo, then I don't know what you're doing. Next we have Korn. Korn is, living on Korn's tower with a Yajirobe, and, in this saga, he's basically doing what he always does, is handing out, sensu beans to people, talking to Goku. I mean, he does the same shit over and over, but, overall, he's mid. He just hangs out with Yajirobe at this point. He's just hanging out. He doesn't fight. He just tells people, information that they might need, and that's it. Next we have Launch. Much lesser role than in original Dragon Ball, but overall she is probably irrelevant in this arc, sadly. We appreciate Launch for Dragon Ball appearances, but in original Dragon Ball, but overall in Dragon Ball Z, she plays little to no role, so she is irrelevant in this arc. By the end of the arc, you don't even know she exists. Saga, basically, she just plays no role. It's a shame. King Yama, he's mid. He's another king that has not enough power to do anything about the situation. He has a big desk, and he just sits there and grumbles. That's his life. Next is Master Roshi. Master Roshi does the same thing he does in every arc, provides comedic relief while not fighting. It was found out that Krillin was stronger than Master Roshi, and so was Goku. So Master Roshi was upset about that, or embarrassed by Krillin being stronger than him, and I don't blame him. So that's his role in this arc. Basically watching the fight like all the other people who weren't fighting on the TV. Here we have Gohan in his post-Piccolo training, it looks like. I would say this Gohan he's either mid or entertaining. It's really a toss-up because we look at this Gohan at the start of the fight versus Nappa. He was scared to attack in the 3-on-1, but he eventually, took control of the situation and gained confidence. But he almost died multiple times, so I'll say this Gohan is mid. That's just where I would put him overall in this saga. He did not do as well in this saga as he did in the next saga, which is the Frieza saga. Specifically in the Saiyan Saga, he didn't play enough of a role. He wasn't even that much involved when he went back to save Goku, except for when Gohan became a great up and fell on Vegeta, but that didn't even finish him off. So specifically, there were parts where he was entertaining, but he was a mid-fighter. He did give Vegeta a good fight at the end, but that's when Vegeta was severely drained of energy. A full-power Vegeta would have eviscerated him, so Gohan is mid. Next we have Yamcha. He's a dumbass. He got blown up by a Cyberman. There's nothing else to say. Baba, she is mid. She does what she always does. Translates messages from one place to another. That's what she does again here. Basically, we have Oolong. Oh yeah, Oolong. Irrelevant. Watches it on the TV, I believe. The fight. Can't fight. Can only shapeshift. Oh, here we have Kaioken Goku. And I would say this Goku is God tier. Specifically for his 4x Kaioken Kamehameha versus Vegeta's Gallic Gun. That's enough for you to get God tier, to push him back like that. And then creating the Spirit Bomb, and not being able to use it, but letting Krillin use it and hit Vegeta with it. This Goku was very strong, overpowered Vegeta multiple times. The only problem is his energy, or his, stamina, was being depleted by using such a high level of power at the time. But nonetheless, he has some great moments, and he deserves to be a God tier character in this saga. Next we have Princess Snake. She is a dumbass. She's a snake that, fed Goku food thinking it was going to subdue him, and he just kept eating it. It was supposed to poison him, I believe, or kill him. She's an idiot. She turned into a serpent or snake immediately after, and couldn't even get him then, so she is a dumbass. Vegeta is a God tier character. Nothing really else to say. I know he lost the fight, but he was a threat. Goku, Krillin, and Gohan had to fend him off to the last bit. He destroyed Nappa. He embarrassed basically everyone there because they knew they couldn't mess with him. And then he went on to, after the saga, get away in his space pod and retreat to, I guess, the Frieza Force spaceship. But nonetheless, the moments in this saga that Vegeta are involved in are constantly entertaining. He's famous for the over 9,000 Scouter crunch in his hand. He gives Goku an excellent fight, basically beats him, turns into a great ape. The only reason Goku, basically Vegeta beat Goku even though Goku hit him with the Kamehameha, because that's just how strong Vegeta was at the time. He came right back from it and turned into a great ape, and then eventually squeezed the life out of Goku until Krillin, Yajirobe, and Gohan saved him. That's where Vegeta stands in this saga. Next we have Puar, irrelevant, along with Oolong, but another shapeshifter. Watched it on TV, I believe, the fight. We have Ox King. He's pretty irrelevant as well. Just tells Chi-Chi to calm down always, Nothing more to expect from him. Krillin, if we think back to this saga, we think of the Destructo Disc almost killing Nappa. We think of him, Piccolo, and Gohan supposedly supposed to launch a three-way attack and Gohan failing to assist, but nonetheless Krillin was trying his best throughout this saga. He did get bitched by Raditz on the beach, but everything after that, Krillin did pretty effectively. He did not die. He had the opportunity to actually kill Vegeta while Vegeta was, basically on the ground, powerless. Krillin did his job in this saga. And the most important moment was him being able to use that Spirit Bomb and Gohan deflecting it at Vegeta to land a hit. But Krillin specifically being able to control it like that was impressive, considering his inexperience. So I would say Krillin was entertaining in this saga. And I don't think much people would dispute that. Here we have Cybermen. Cybermen are mid. They're not dumbass. They have some IQ level, and they're also not irrelevant. They did get a kill on Yamcha, but the rest of them got absolutely demolished. I believe there were 6 in total, but they did land a kill. That's good for them. It was just the appetizer to the actual fight. Next here we have Tien. Tien didn't do much in the saga. I believe he was one of the strongest out of Piccolo, Gohan, Yamcha, and Chaozu there. Basically, he was probably the most powerful out of Yamcha, Chaozu, and he was along there with Krillin basically in terms of power, but he wasn't able to use his Tri-Beam effectively. He was already losing power. He probably could have damaged Nappa, but Nappa was able to deflect it at the last second. Overall, he was mid for this saga, specifically. He does better in the Cell Saga later in the show, but other than that, he deserves to be mid. Next we have Master Roshi Turtle. The Turtle Hermit's turtle is irrelevant. He's probably watching on the TV as well. And I don't know why there's a Gohan here. This is Gohan obviously using the Masenko. If they're talking about when he used the Masenko against Nappa, I would just put him along with the other Gohans as mid. Specifically, I think the Gohan versus Raditz was more entertaining than these two, and was obviously more of a threat to Raditz, so they deserve to be lower. And you might say they're entertaining. They're definitely not God tier, but I think mid is a good spot for them, along with the rest of the crew here. He just wasn't as effective as hyped up to be, sadly, for all the training he went through. A few characters left here. We have Vegeta in Great Ape form, and I would say this Vegeta in Great Ape was definitely an entertaining fighter. He would be God tier, but he got his tail cut off by Yajirobe, a mere martial artist human, not even, someone capable of using ki that effectively, just slicing off the normal sword. So he's an entertaining character. Would have been God tier if he didn't get his tail sliced off. If he would have killed Goku, he would have been for sure God tier. Chi-Chi is the second to last character we have here. She is mid. She is relevant in the sense that, Goku dies, She's upset about that. She doesn't want Gohan training with Piccolo. And later on, after she finds out Goku and Gohan are okay, she's more worried about Gohan. And then she doesn't want Gohan to go to Namek in the Frieza Saga. So that's her role. She's mid. She's annoying. That's what she does. Lastly here, we have Yajirobe. And I gotta tell you, Yajirobe in the saga, I'm contemplating putting him in God tier. Specifically for cutting off Vegeta's tail. I mean, that is just an heroic act. I'm going to put him in God tier. Just for that. In this saga specifically, I don't think in any other saga he's God tier. He has to be in God tier for that specific kill on that Great Ape. No one up to that point was able to... Well, I don't want to say that. They were able to subdue Great Apes, but Vegeta specifically, 10 times stronger in ape form. You know, he could not sense Yajirobe approaching, but he could sense Krillin trying to cut it off with a destructive disc. And the moment that Yajirobe did that, the tables turned on Vegeta. It wasn't the same fight. Reduced back to a mere, Saiyan warrior with half the power he probably had before. So Yajirobe deserves God tier. And I know people are going to disagree, but just specifically for that moment, he deserves that. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that watched this video on this Saiyan Saga tier list. I'm sure I'll be doing more tier lists in the future, not only on stuff like Dragon Ball, but I'm sure other subjects. If anybody has any specific tier list they'd like to see done on movies, games, characters, actors, any type of anything, a tier list can be made for it. So, thanks again for watching. This is Opinionated Plays, and I'll see you all later.